When the world's richest man stopped on a busy street corner in Austin, Texas, nobody knew what was about to happen. It was just another Saturday afternoon. People were shopping, eating, taking pictures. A street musician named Marcus was playing his old guitar, trying to earn enough money for rent. Then Elon Musk walked up to him. Not in a fancy car, not with cameras following him. Just a regular guy in a black t-shirt and jeans. And he did something that shocked everyone watching. He asked to borrow Marcus's guitar. Now, you have to understand. Marcus had never met this man before. He didn't even recognize him at first. But something in the stranger's eyes made Marcus say yes. He handed over his guitar, the only valuable thing he owned in the world. What happened next changed both of their lives forever. The billionaire started playing. And then he started singing. His voice cracked with emotion. Tears ran down his face as hundreds of people stopped to watch. Within minutes, phones were everywhere. The videos went viral. 50 million views in just 3 hours. But here's what nobody understood. Why was Elon Musk crying on a street corner? Why did he pick that exact spot? Why did he play those specific songs? And why did it happen on October 14th? The internet went crazy trying to figure it out. Reporters investigated. Millions of people shared theories. But the real answer, the real reason behind those tears, it's something almost nobody knows. It's a story about fathers and sons, about mistakes that can't be undone, about second chances and the ones that come too late, about how one borrowed guitar connected two men who had both lost everything that mattered. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear will break your heart and put it back together again. This isn't just about a billionaire playing music. This is about something much deeper, something real. Let me tell you what really happened on South Congress Avenue. Let me tell you why Marcus, a struggling street musician, became the most important person in Elon Musk's life for exactly 5 minutes. And let me tell you the secret that explains everything. The truth that wasn't revealed until months later. This story starts on a warm October afternoon in Austin, Texas. The October sun hung warm over South Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas, painting the sidewalks in golden light. It was Saturday, October 14th, 2023, and the street buzzed with life. Tourists snapped photos of colorful murals, and the smell of food trucks mixed with the sound of laughter. Street performers lined the busy sidewalk, each hoping to catch the attention of passers-by. Marcus Rivera sat on a folding chair near the corner of South Congress and Annie Street. His fingers moved across the strings of his acoustic guitar, playing a soft melody that most people walked past without noticing. The guitar was old, with scratches along its wooden body that told stories of better days. Marcus's case lay open at his feet, holding a few crumpled dollar bills and some coins, maybe $12 total. He was 34 years old, though the worry lines on his face made him look older. His brown eyes watched the crowd, but his mind was somewhere else. Today was supposed to be special. Today was supposed to be his daughter Lily's 7th birthday. Instead, he was here, alone, playing for strangers who barely looked his way. Marcus finished his song and started another one. His fingers knew the chords by heart. Music was the only thing that felt real anymore. Everything else, his job, his marriage, his home, had slipped away like water through his hands. The afternoon crowd moved in waves. A family with 3 children walked by. A couple holding hands stopped to listen for a moment, then moved on. An elderly woman dropped a $5 bill in his case and smiled. Marcus nodded his thanks, but the kindness made his chest ache. He didn't want pity. He just wanted his old life back. Then, At exactly 3:47 in the afternoon, something unexpected happened. A tall man approached from the direction of the historic hotels. He wore a simple black t-shirt, faded jeans, and sneakers that had seen better days. His dark hair looked like he'd forgotten to comb it. He walked with his hands in his pockets, shoulders slightly hunched, as if trying to make himself smaller. Most people wouldn't have given him a second glance. He looked like any other tech worker out for a Saturday stroll in Austin. But there was something different about the way he moved. Purposeful, yet uncertain. Like a man walking toward something he both wanted and feared. The man stopped about 6 feet from Marcus. He stood perfectly still, listening. Marcus was playing The Scientist by Coldplay, one of his favorite songs to play when his heart felt heavy. The man's eyes closed for a moment, and his expression changed. It was subtle, a tightening around his mouth, a slight drop in his shoulders. But Marcus noticed. Marcus finished the song. The man opened his eyes. "That was beautiful," the man said. His voice was quiet, almost lost in the street noise. "Thank you," Marcus replied, his fingers already moving to start another tune. "Wait," the man said, stepping closer. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus looked up, really seeing him for the first time. There was something familiar about the face, but he couldn't place it. "Sure." The man hesitated. He looked down at the guitar, then back at Marcus. Could I borrow your guitar? Just for a few minutes?" Marcus blinked. In 6 months of playing on this corner, no one had ever asked that. People asked for specific songs. They asked if he took requests. They asked where the bathroom was. But no one had ever asked to hold his guitar. Marcus started, unsure how to respond. "I'll be careful," the man said quickly. "I promise. I need to play something. Right now. Here." His eyes held something Marcus recognized, a desperate need that had nothing to do with money or fame. It was the same need that brought Marcus to this corner every day. The need to feel something real. Marcus stood up slowly. He looked at the stranger's face, really studied it. Kind eyes, tired eyes, sad eyes. Without fully understanding why, Marcus held out his guitar. The man took it like someone receiving a fragile, precious gift. His hands trembled slightly as his fingers found the neck. He adjusted the strap over his shoulder and positioned himself right there on the sidewalk, in the middle of the flowing crowd. A few people glanced over, curious. The man took a deep breath. His eyes seemed to look at something far away, something only he could see. Then his fingers touched the strings, and he began to play. The first notes rang out clear and true across South Congress Avenue. And in that moment, everything changed. The melody was haunting. It floated through the busy street like a ghost, weaving between conversations and car horns and the general noise of the city. People nearby stopped mid-step, heads turned. The stranger's fingers moved across the strings with surprising confidence, finding chords that made the old guitar sing in ways Marcus had never heard before. Then the man began to sing. His voice wasn't perfect. It wasn't the polished sound of a professional musician or a trained singer. It was raw and real, slightly rough around the edges, but filled with so much emotion that it made Marcus's throat tighten. The song was Wildflowers by Tom Petty. Marcus knew it well, a gentle and hopeful tune about freedom and belonging. But the way this stranger sang it, the words carried a different weight. Each line sounded like a confession, like a prayer, like something being released after being held too long. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. A woman in a red dress stopped pushing her stroller. A teenage boy pulled out his earbuds. A businessman in a suit paused with his phone halfway to his ear. The crowd around them began to grow, slowly at first, then faster. Marcus watched the man's face as he played. His eyes were closed now, and something glistened on his cheek. Was he crying? This tall stranger in the black t-shirt, playing a borrowed guitar on a street corner, had tears running down his face. A small voice spoke up from the growing circle of listeners. "Mommy, why is that man crying while he sings?" Marcus turned to see an 8-year-old girl with dark braided hair looking up at her mother with concerned eyes. The mother, an Asian woman in casual weekend clothes, knelt down beside her daughter. "Sometimes music brings out our feelings, Sophie," the mother said softly. "Even grown-ups need to cry sometimes." Sophie Chen watched the stranger with wide, serious eyes. She didn't understand all the words he was singing, but she understood the feeling. Sadness. Missing someone. Wanting to go home. More people gathered. 20, then 30, then 50. The circle around the musician grew wider. Some held up their phones, recording. Others just stood with their hands at their sides, drawn in by something they couldn't quite name. Marcus stood frozen beside his empty chair. And he'd been playing on this corner for 6 months, and he'd never commanded this kind of attention. People usually dropped $1 and kept walking. They never stopped. They never really listened. But this man, whoever he was, had created something magnetic. Something that made the whole busy street pause. Then someone in the crowd gasped. "Oh my God," a young man whispered to his girlfriend. "Is that—" "No way," she whispered back, leaning closer to look. "It can't be. Look at his face. That's totally him." The whispers rippled through the crowd like wind through grass. People started looking harder, squinting, pulling out their phones not just to record the music, but to search for confirmation of what they were seeing. But the stranger didn't stop playing. If he heard the recognition spreading through the crowd, he gave no sign. And he just kept singing, kept playing, his fingers dancing across Marcus's guitar strings like they'd been born there. He reached the chorus again, and his voice grew stronger despite the tears still wet on his face. "You belong somewhere you feel free." Marcus felt his own eyes burning. He didn't know why this moment felt so important, so sacred somehow. Here was a man who clearly had everything. People were pulling up articles on their phones now, showing each other pictures, confirming his identity. And yet, he was singing about belonging, about freedom, about finding home. The irony wasn't lost on Marcus. Neither was the pain behind it. When the stranger sang the final verse, his voice cracked on certain words, but he pushed through. The guitar seemed to understand what he needed, responding to every touch with perfect clarity. As the last notes faded into the Austin air, there was a moment of absolute silence. 50 people, maybe 60 now, stood perfectly still. Even the street seemed to hold its breath. Then someone started clapping. Others joined. Within seconds, the applause rolled through the crowd like thunder. But the stranger wasn't finished. Without acknowledging the crowd, without opening his eyes or wiping away his tears, he began playing again. This time, the opening chords were darker, heavier. Marcus recognized the song immediately. Hurt, the 9 Inch Nails song that Johnny Cash had made famous in his final years. Several people in the crowd exchanged glances. This wasn't a happy song. This was about pain, about regret, about looking back at a life and seeing the damage left behind. "I hurt myself today, to see if I still feel..." The stranger's voice was barely above a whisper now, but in the silence that had fallen over South Congress Avenue, Everyone heard every word. The vulnerability was almost too much to witness. It felt like watching someone's heart break in real time. Sophie tugged on her mother's sleeve again. "That man is very sad," she said simply. Her mother nodded, unable to speak. Around them, phones captured every second, but many in the crowd had lowered their devices. Some things felt too private to record, even when they happened in public. Marcus noticed a news van pulling up at the edge of the crowd. A reporter jumped out with her cameraman, both moving quickly toward the gathering. But even they slowed as they got closer, caught by the weight of the moment. The stranger sang about empire of dirt, not about everyone going away in the end, about being alone. His fingers pressed the strings so hard that Marcus worried they might snap. But the guitar held, producing sounds that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than wood and wire. As he sang the final haunting line, his voice finally broke completely. He finished the last chord and stood there, head bowed, breathing hard. The crowd was silent. No one clapped this time. The song didn't ask for applause. It asked for witness. Slowly, the stranger opened his eyes. He looked down at the guitar in his hands, as if surprised to find it there. Then he turned to Marcus and gently held it out. Their eyes met. Marcus saw everything in that moment: grief, exhaustion, loneliness, and something else. Something that looked like gratitude. He took his guitar back with shaking hands. And then the stranger spoke. "Thank you," the stranger said, his voice rough from singing. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, not trying to hide the tears. "Thank you for letting me play." Marcus stood holding his guitar, feeling like the world had tilted sideways. The crowd pressed closer now, phones everywhere, people shouting questions. But the stranger's eyes stayed locked on Marcus, like they were the only two people on the entire street. Marcus started, but his voice failed him. "What do you say when someone just poured their soul out through your instrument?" Before either of them could speak again, the crowd surged forward. Someone yelled, "Mr. Musk, can you tell us why you're here?" Another voice called out, "Is this for a commercial? Are you filming something?" The stranger, Musk, they were calling him, and yes, Marcus could see it now, could recognize the face from news articles and magazine covers, took a small step back. His expression shifted, the raw vulnerability sliding behind a mask of careful blankness. A security guard appeared from nowhere, speaking quickly into a radio. Within moments, two more joined him, creating a barrier between Musk and the pressing crowd. Musk glanced at Marcus one more time, something unspoken passing between them. Then, he was being guided away, the security team clearing a path through the sea of phones and excited faces. The crowd followed like a wave, chasing after him, everyone wanting a piece of the moment, wanting to be part of the story they'd tell later. Marcus watched him go, still holding his guitar, still trying to process what had just happened. Then, he was alone again. The corner of South Congress and Annie Street returned to normal, as if the last 10 minutes had been a dream. Traffic moved. People walked. The street went back to being just a street. Marcus sat down slowly in his folding chair. His hands were trembling. He looked down at his guitar case. During the performance, people had thrown money, lots of it. Bills covered the bottom of the case, some crumpled, some folded. He could see 20s, 10s, even a $50 bill. More money than he usually made in a week. But Marcus barely noticed it. His mind was somewhere else, spiraling backward through time to 6 months ago, when his life had been completely different. 6 months earlier, Marcus Rivera had been a different man. He'd wake up at 6:30 every morning in the small house he rented in East Austin. His wife, Elena, She would already be in the kitchen making coffee, her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Their daughter, Lily, would stumble out of her bedroom rubbing sleepy eyes, dragging her favorite stuffed rabbit. Marcus taught music at Austin Community School, a public elementary school where the hallways smelled like crayons and cafeteria pizza. He taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how to read music, how to hold a recorder properly, how to count beats and find rhythm. It wasn't glamorous work, and the pay wasn't great, but Marcus loved it. He loved seeing a child's face light up when they played their first complete song. He loved the chaos of the winter concert, with kids in crooked ties and clip-on bow ties, singing off-key but with complete confidence. But he loved coming home with marker stains on his hands and stories about which kid had tried to play the xylophone with their shoes. Elena worked at a medical billing company. She handled the numbers while Marcus handled the music. Together, they made enough to pay rent, buy groceries, and occasionally take Lily to the movies. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Life was good. Simple, but good. Then March 2023 arrived with devastating news. Budget cuts. The school district was millions of dollars short, and they had to make difficult choices. Art programs were expensive. Music programs required instruments, sheet music, repairs, and specialized teachers. The district cut them entirely. Marcus remembered the meeting where they told him. The principal, Ms. Rodriguez, had tears in her eyes as she explained. "It's not about your teaching. Marcus, you're wonderful. The kids love you. But we have to prioritize math, reading, science. We have no choice." No choice. Those words echoed in Marcus's head for weeks. He'd applied everywhere. Other schools, private music academies, community centers. But Austin was full of musicians, and jobs were scarce. Weeks turned into months. Their savings drained away like water from a broken pipe. By July, the arguments started. Elena was terrified. The rent was due. Lily needed new shoes. The car needed repairs they couldn't afford. "Maybe you need to try something else," Elena had said one night, her voice tight with stress. "Just temporarily. Just until something opens up." "Like what?" Marcus had snapped back. "Music is what I know. Music is who I am. Music doesn't pay our bills." The words hung between them like poison. Marcus had slept on the couch that night. In August, Elena packed 2 suitcases and put them in her car. Lily stood in the doorway holding her rabbit, confused and scared. "We're going to stay with Aunt Carmen for a while," Elena told Marcus, her voice flat and exhausted. "In Houston, just until things are better." "Elena, please." "I can't do this anymore, Marcus. I can't watch our daughter ask why we can't afford breakfast cereal. I can't keep pretending everything will be okay when you won't even try to find work outside of music." "I am trying." "Not hard enough." She'd picked up Lily, who'd started crying. "When you figure out how to support your family, call me. Until then, we need space." They'd left on August 15th. Marcus stood in the driveway watching the car disappear around the corner, taking half his heart with it. That's how Marcus ended up on South Congress Avenue with his guitar. It was all he had left. The house was too empty without Elena's coffee maker humming and Lily's cartoons playing. He couldn't afford it anymore anyway. He'd moved into a tiny studio apartment that smelled like old carpet and regret. Playing on the street wasn't about the money at first. It was about survival. Not financial survival. Marcus was barely scraping by on that front anyway. It was about emotional survival. When he played music, for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, he felt like himself again. Like the Marcus who'd taught Room 14 how to clap in rhythm. Like the Marcus who danced with his daughter in the kitchen. So every day, he came to this corner. He played songs that meant something to him. And he tried not to think about the fact that today, October 14th, was supposed to be Lily's 7th birthday. They'd planned it months ago, before everything fell apart. A party at the park with a unicorn cake, Lily's friends from school, pin the tail on the donkey. Lily had been so excited. Instead, Marcus was here, alone, while his daughter celebrated 90 miles away without him. The stranger's song echoed in his head. You belong somewhere you feel free. Marcus didn't know where he belonged anymore. He only knew it wasn't here. Marcus was still lost in his thoughts when a shadow fell across his guitar case. He looked up to find a woman in her 30s, blonde hair pulled into a professional ponytail, holding a microphone. Behind her stood a cameraman with a large camera balanced on his shoulder, a red recording light blinking steadily. "Marcus Rivera?" the woman asked, her voice friendly but urgent. "I'm Jennifer Walsh from KXAN News. Do you have a moment to talk about what just happened here?" Marcus blinked at her, his mind struggling to shift gears. What? That was Elon Musk, wasn't it? The Elon Musk. He just played your guitar in front of hundreds of people. Jennifer glanced at her phone screen. Actually, make that thousands. The videos are already going viral. X is exploding. You're trending. Trending? The word felt foreign in Marcus's mouth. Jennifer knelt down to his eye level, her expression softening. This is big news. The world's richest man just had what looks like an emotional breakdown on a street corner in Austin. With your guitar. People want to know what happened. What did he say to you? Why did he choose your guitar? Did you know he could play? Marcus shook his head slowly. I didn't know anything. He asked to borrow it, so I let him. You let a stranger borrow your guitar? Just like that? He didn't look like a stranger. Marcus struggled to find the right words. I mean, I didn't recognize who he was at first. But his eyes, he looked like he needed to play, really needed to. I understood that feeling. Jennifer's cameraman was already filming. She held the microphone toward Marcus. Can you tell our viewers what you saw, what it was like watching him perform? Before Marcus could answer, his phone buzzed in his pocket. Then it buzzed again, and again. Within seconds, it was vibrating continuously, like an angry wasp trapped in his jeans. And he pulled it out and stared at the screen in disbelief. Notifications flooded in faster than he could read them. Text messages, missed calls, Facebook notifications, Instagram tags, emails. The numbers kept climbing. One text stood out from his cousin in San Antonio. Dude, you're on CNN. What the hell happened? Another from his old teaching colleague. Marcus, I just saw you on the news. Call me. And then, among all the chaos, one message made his heart stop completely. Elena, I just saw the video. We need to talk. Please call me. Marcus stared at his wife's name on the screen. His hands started shaking. Mr. Rivera? Jennifer's voice seemed to come from far away. Are you okay? He wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. An hour ago, he'd been invisible. Just another street musician people walked past without seeing. Now his phone was exploding. A news camera was in his face, and his wife, who hadn't called him in over a month, wanted to talk. Marcus stood up abruptly, nearly knocking over his chair. I need a minute. I'm sorry. He grabbed his guitar and case, scooping up the money without counting it, and started walking. He didn't know where he was going. He just needed to move, needed to breathe, needed the world to stop spinning so fast. Jennifer called after him, but Marcus kept walking. He cut through the crowd that had reformed on the corner, people pointing at him now, recognizing him from the videos already spreading across the internet. He ducked into a coffee shop 3 blocks away, his chest tight, his breath coming in short gasps. The young barista looked up from her espresso machine. "You okay, man? You look like you're gonna pass out." Marcus leaned against the counter. Can I sit down for a minute?" "Sure, yeah. You want some water?" He nodded, unable to speak. She brought him a glass, and he collapsed into a chair by the window, setting his guitar carefully beside him. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Marcus finally turned it face down on the table, but he could still feel it vibrating, still hear the muffled notifications. The whole world wanted a piece of this moment, wanted to analyze it, share it, make it mean something. But what did it mean? A billionaire had borrowed his guitar and cried while singing about wildflowers and hurt. That was all. Just 2 songs, maybe 5 minutes total. How had that turned into this chaos? Marcus pulled up his phone despite himself and opened Twitter. No, X. Whatever they called it now. Hashtag Elon Plays Guitar was the #1 trending topic in the United States. Number 3, worldwide. He scrolled through the posts, each one more surreal than the last. OMG, I was there. He was crying. What is happening? This is the most human I've ever seen, Elon Musk. Respect. Why isn't anyone talking about the street musician? Who is he? Found him. Marcus Rivera, former music teacher, lost his job in March. Wait, Elon can actually play guitar? Since when? That wasn't just playing, that was feeling. Something serious is going on. Video after video showed the same scene from different angles. Close-ups of Musk's face, tears visible on his cheeks, wide shots showing the growing crowd. Someone had even captured the moment when Musk first asked to borrow the guitar. Marcus's surprised expression clear on camera. Then Marcus saw a different kind of post. Someone had made a split-screen video, Musk singing Hurt on one side, Johnny Cash's famous version on the other. The caption read, "Both men singing about loss, both with tears in their eyes. What happened to make Elon feel this pain?" Theories exploded in the comments. Some people thought it was about his companies. Maybe SpaceX had lost a rocket. Maybe Tesla was failing. Others speculated about his personal life, relationship problems, family issues, health scares. A few suggested it was just a publicity stunt, though those comments were quickly shouted down by people who'd been there, who insisted the emotion was real. One comment caught Marcus's attention. "Today is October 14th. Anyone know if that date means something to Musk?" Several people replied, trying to find connections. Product launches, company anniversaries, important dates in tech history. But nothing fit. The date seemed random. Marcus's phone buzzed with a call. Elena's name appeared on the screen. His finger hovered over the answer button. Part of him desperately wanted to hear her voice. Another part was terrified. What if she'd only called because he was on the news? What if this was just curiosity, not concern? He let it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th ring, he answered. "Hello? Marcus." Elena's voice cracked his name in half. "I saw the video. I saw you. Are you okay?" The question was so unexpected, so simple and genuine, that Marcus felt his eyes burn. "I don't know," he admitted. "Everything is crazy right now. And the news is here. People are calling. I don't understand what's happening." "Where are you?" "Some coffee shop. I had to get away." Silence stretched between them, filled with 3 months of hurt and distance and all the things they hadn't said. "Marcus," Elena said finally, her voice soft. "Lily saw it too. She recognized your guitar. She's been asking about you all morning." His throat closed completely. He couldn't speak. She wants to talk to you. It's her birthday, and she misses you. Marcus wiped his eyes with his free hand. I miss her too. God, Elena, I miss both of you so much. I know you do. He heard Elena take a shaky breath. Maybe we gave up too fast. Maybe I gave up too fast. Can we talk? Really talk? Not about bills or jobs or who was right. Just talk? Yes, Marcus whispered. Please. Yes. Okay, good. There was relief in her voice, mixed with something that might have been hope. Let me put Lily on. She really wants to wish you happy birthday. I mean, to hear you wish her happy birthday. Marcus heard shuffling on the other end of the line, then Elena's muffled voice saying, Go ahead, baby. Daddy's waiting. Daddy! The small voice hit Marcus like a physical force. 7 years old today. His little girl was 7 years old. Hi, Lilybug, Marcus managed, using the nickname he'd called her since she was a baby. His voice shook, but he didn't care. Daddy, I saw you on Mommy's phone. You were on the street with your guitar, and there was a tall man and lots of people. The words tumbled out in an excited rush. Were you famous? Are you going to be on TV? Marcus laughed, though it came out more like a sob. I don't think I'm famous, sweetheart. I just let someone borrow my guitar for a minute. But everyone was watching. There were so many people. Lily paused. Daddy, why didn't you come to my birthday party? Aunt Carmen made a unicorn cake. It had purple frosting and everything. The question was innocent, without accusation, but it shattered something inside Marcus. I'm so sorry, baby. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there more than anything in the whole world. Mommy said you had to work. Marcus closed his eyes. Yeah, I had to work. But Lily, I want you to know something. Even though I'm not there, I've been thinking about you all day. I sang happy birthday to you this morning. Just me and my guitar. Really? Really. And I have a present for you. I'll bring it next time I see you. You okay? He didn't actually have a present yet. He'd been trying not to think about her birthday because it hurt too much. But looking at the money stuffed in his guitar case, more than he'd made in months, he knew he could buy her something special now. Okay. Lily's voice brightened. Daddy, can you play me a song? On your guitar? Please? Marcus looked around the coffee shop. The barista was wiping down tables, pretending not to listen, but clearly paying attention. 2 other customers sat in the corner with laptops. Everyone would hear. He didn't care. What song do you want to hear, Lilybug? The Rainbow Song. The one you always sang at bedtime. Marcus smiled for the first time in hours. He pulled his guitar from its case and positioned it on his lap. His fingers found the familiar chords to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Right there in the coffee shop, Marcus Rivera sang to his daughter. His voice was quiet, gentle, meant only for her ears even though others could hear. He sang about bluebirds and dreams and wishes on stars. He sang about troubles melting like lemon drops and a place where everything was better. When he finished, he heard soft clapping. The barista was smiling at him, tears in her eyes. The 2 customers had stopped typing to listen. That was beautiful, Daddy, Lily whispered into the phone. Happy birthday, sweetheart. I love you bigger than the sky. I love you bigger than space, she replied, their ritual exchange. Elena came back on the line. Thank you, she said quietly. She needed that. We both needed that. Elena, Not now, she interrupted gently. Not over the phone. But soon, okay? We'll talk soon, I promise. After they hung up, Marcus sat holding his silent phone, feeling like something had shifted. Not fixed. Nothing was fixed yet, but shifted. The impossible distance between Austin and Houston felt a little smaller. His moment of peace lasted exactly 90 seconds. The coffee shop door opened with a soft chime, and Marcus looked up to see a sight that made no sense at all. Elon Musk walked through the door. He'd changed somehow, though he wore the same clothes. Maybe it was his posture, straighter now, more purposeful. Or maybe it was his eyes, which found Marcus immediately, as if he'd known exactly where to look. 2 security guards flanked him, but Musk waved them back. "Wait outside, please. I need a few minutes." They hesitated, clearly uncomfortable, but obeyed. The door closed behind them. The coffee shop went absolutely silent. The barista froze mid-wipe. The customers stared with open mouths. And Marcus, still holding his guitar, couldn't move at all. Musk walked to Marcus's table and stopped. "Can I sit?" Marcus nodded, unable to find words. Musk sat down heavily, like a man who'd been standing too long. Up close, Marcus could see the exhaustion carved into his face. Dark circles under his eyes, lines around his mouth. This wasn't the confident billionaire from magazine covers. This was just a tired man. "I followed the crowd," Musk said. "After I left, I mean. I got in the car, but then I asked the driver to circle back. I saw you head this direction." He paused. "That probably sounds creepy. I'm sorry. I needed to talk to you. Without the cameras." "Why?" Marcus's voice came out as a whisper. "Because you did something for me that you didn't have to do. You trusted me with something valuable. Your guitar, I could see it means a lot to you. You could have said no when a stranger asked to borrow it, but you didn't. You looked like you needed it," Marcus said simply. "I did." Musk's jaw tightened. "More than you know." They sat in silence for a moment. The barista finally remembered how to move and went back to wiping tables, though she kept glancing over. "Can I ask you something?" Musk said. "Why were you playing on that street corner? I looked you up after." "Marcus Rivera, former music teacher at Austin Community School. Lost your position in March during budget cuts. You're talented. Really talented. So why the street?" Marcus felt exposed. I, like Musk, had peeled back his skin to see the raw hurt underneath. "Because music is all I have left," he said honestly. "I lost my job, lost my house. My wife and daughter moved to Houston because I couldn't support them. Today is..." His voice cracked. "Today is my daughter's 7th birthday, and I'm here instead of there." Understanding flooded Musk's face. "That's why you were playing the scientist when I walked up. Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be this hard." "Yeah, I'm sorry for all of it." Musk pulled out his phone. "Can I make a call? I want you to hear this." Before Marcus could respond, Musk was dialing. The phone rang twice, then a professional female voice answered. "Mr. Musk? Is everything all right?" "Sarah, I need you to process an immediate grant from the Musk Foundation, a music education initiative. Recipient is Marcus Rivera." He spelled the last name. $50,000, transferred today. Marcus's heart stopped. "What? No, I can't." Musk held up one finger, still talking. "It's for him to start a nonprofit music education program. Get the paperwork started. I'll send details later, but I want the money available by Monday." "Understood, sir. I'll handle it personally." Musk ended the call and looked at Marcus, who sat frozen in shock. "That's not charity," Musk said firmly. "That's an investment. You're going to start a music program for kids who lost theirs. You're going to keep teaching, and you're going to help kids like your daughter have access to something beautiful in a world that keeps taking beautiful things away. I can't accept. Marcus struggled to form coherent thoughts. $50,000. It was more money than he'd made in 2 years of teaching. It was enough to get his life back, maybe even enough to bring his family home. "You can, and you will," Musk said, "because I can't fix what I broke. But maybe I can help you fix what got broken in your life." His voice dropped lower. Sometimes we get second chances. Not always the ones we want, but the ones we get offered. Take this one, Marcus. Please. There was something in Musk's tone, a desperate edge, like this mattered more than money, more than publicity, more than anything Marcus could understand. "Why?" Marcus asked again. "Why are you really doing this?" Musk was quiet for a long moment. His fingers drummed on the table, a nervous gesture that seemed out of place on someone usually so controlled. "Because you're a father who got separated from his child," Musk said finally. "And today, watching you play, seeing the pain in your music, I saw something I recognized: loss, regret, the weight of things we can't fix." He met Marcus's eyes. "I can't change my own story. But maybe, if I help you, your daughter won't grow up wondering why her father wasn't there. Maybe you still have time." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning Marcus didn't fully grasp. "Thank you," Marcus whispered. It felt inadequate, too small for the magnitude of what had just happened, but it was all he had. Musk stood up. "Don't thank me. Just promise me something. When you start that program, when you teach music to kids again, remember this feeling. Remember what it's like to lose everything and get a second chance. Pass that forward?" "I will. I promise." Musk nodded once, then turned toward the door. He paused with his hand on the handle and looked back. "That song you were singing when I left. To your daughter. Somewhere over the rainbow." His voice was rough again. "My father, he used to hum that sometimes. I'd forgotten until just now." Then he was gone, the security team closing around him as he walked back into the chaos of South Congress Avenue. Marcus sat alone in the coffee shop, his guitar on his lap, his phone full of messages he hadn't read, and his entire life suddenly, impossibly different than it had been an hour ago. The barista approached quietly. "That really just happened, right? I didn't imagine it?" "I don't know," Marcus said honestly. "I really don't know." But when he looked down at his phone and saw Elena's last message, "We'll talk soon, and I promise," he thought maybe, just maybe, impossible things were allowed to happen on October 14th, 2023. By the time Marcus left the coffee shop, the sun was beginning to sink lower in the Austin sky, painting everything in shades of orange and gold. He walked slowly back toward his studio apartment, his guitar case lighter somehow despite the unexpected money inside it. His phone continued its relentless buzzing. Every few seconds, another notification, another message, another stranger who suddenly wanted to know his story. 3 hours. That's all it had been since Elon Musk had picked up his guitar. 3 hours, and Marcus's entire world had turned inside out. He stopped at a small park and sat on a bench beneath an oak tree. He needed to understand what was happening, needed to see what the world was seeing. With shaking fingers, he opened his phone and started scrolling. The numbers were impossible. The main video, shot by someone in the front of the crowd, had 47 million views on X. 47 million. Marcus couldn't even comprehend that number. That was more than the entire population of California. On YouTube, someone had uploaded a cleaner version with better audio. Another 23 million views in just 3 hours. TikTok was even worse. Or better. Marcus couldn't tell anymore. Dozens of videos from different angles, each with millions of views. People had added their own commentary, their own music, their own interpretations. One TikTok creator had put Musk's performance side by side with his own speeches about Mars and Tesla. The caption read, "This is what happens when you're human first, billionaire second. Respect." 8.3 million likes. And another had focused entirely on Marcus's face as he watched Musk play. The creator had added text. "This man just let a stranger borrow his guitar. He had no idea he was changing both their lives." 6.7 million likes. The news coverage was everywhere. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, BBC, they'd all picked it up. The headlines varied, but the theme was consistent. Elon Musk's emotional street performance shocks Austin. Why was Elon Musk crying? Viral guitar, video raises questions. Billionaires break down. What we know about today's incident. Marcus clicked on the CNN article. There was a photo of him. Someone had grabbed a screenshot from the video. His face caught in an expression of pure surprise as Musk first started playing. The article had done its research. Marcus Rivera, 34, lost his position as a music teacher at Austin Community School in March 2023 when the district eliminated arts programs due to budget constraints. According to public records, Rivera filed for bankruptcy in August. Friends and former colleagues describe him as a dedicated educator who loved teaching children. "He was the best teacher our school had," said former principal Linda Rodriguez in a phone interview. "Losing him broke our hearts, but we had no choice." The article continued, quoting people Marcus barely remembered talking to, pulling together pieces of his life and displaying them for millions of strangers to read. It felt violating and validating at the same time. His pain was real, documented, witnessed. But the articles kept circling back to the same question. Why had Elon Musk done this? What had driven him to that street corner at that exact moment? Theories multiplied like rabbits. A technology blogger with 2 million followers posted, "Musk has been under incredible pressure. Tesla stock dropped 8% last week. The Starship test didn't go as planned. Maybe he just needed to be human for a minute." A pop psychology account suggested, "This looks like a textbook emotional release. Musk works 80 to 100-hour weeks. He's said before he has trouble sleeping. This could be exhaustion manifesting as a breaking point." One tweet had gone massively viral, with over 300,000 retweets. Everyone asking, "Why did Elon cry?" is missing the point. Ask instead, why does the richest man in the world need to borrow a guitar from a struggling musician to feel something real? Well, what does that say about success? Marcus found himself nodding at that one. There had been something desperate in Musk's eyes when he'd asked to borrow the guitar, like a drowning man reaching for anything that might help him breathe. Then Marcus saw the date theories. Someone had created an entire Twitter thread investigating October 14th. Thread: What's significant about October 14th for Elon Musk? Let's investigate. 1/15 inch. The thread went through everything. Product launches, none matched. Board meetings, nothing public. Birthdays, not his kids'. Anniversaries of major events, nothing significant. August 15th. I've searched everything. Company records, old interviews, family dates. Nothing explains why today of all days. But something made Elon Musk break down on a street corner. Something about this date matters to him. Hundreds of people replied with their own theories, but nobody had found the answer. The mystery deepened with every passing hour. Marcus was so absorbed in reading that he didn't notice the woman approaching until she sat down on the bench beside him. I thought I'd find you here eventually." Marcus looked up, startled. It was Jennifer Walsh, the news reporter from earlier. She'd lost the professional polish. Her hair was down now, and she'd ditched the blazer for a simple cardigan. "I'm not stalking you, I promise," she said quickly, seeing his expression. "I live 2 blocks that way. I come to this park to think. It's just a coincidence." "Everything feels like a coincidence today," Marcus said quietly. Jennifer smiled. "Mind if I sit?" "Off the record." "I no camera." Marcus gestured to the bench. "It's a public park." They sat in silence for a moment, watching 2 kids throw a frisbee while their father watched from a nearby blanket. "You know what's strange?" Jennifer said finally. "I've been a reporter for 12 years. I've covered city council meetings and crime scenes and political scandals. But this is the story everyone's going to remember. The day Elon Musk cried on South Congress Avenue." "It doesn't make sense," Marcus admitted. "It was just 2 songs, 5 minutes. Why does everyone care so much?" "Because it was real." Jennifer pulled her knees up to her chest, looking younger than she had with the camera. "People are so tired of performance. Everything is filtered, edited, curated. But what happened today? That was raw, genuine. A billionaire fell apart in public. And it wasn't for attention or publicity. It just happened." Marcus thought about Musk's tears, the crack in his voice during hurt. She was right. Whatever had driven him to that moment, it hadn't been calculated. "Can I tell you something?" Jennifer asked. "When I was a kid, my mom died. Cancer. I was 11. At her funeral, my dad didn't cry. Everyone told him he was being so strong, so brave. But that night, I found him in our garage, sitting in Mom's car, sobbing. He didn't know I was there. I watched him break. And I remember thinking, this is what real looks like." She wiped her eyes quickly. "Sorry. I don't know why I told you that. But watching Musk today reminded me of my dad. Sometimes people need permission to fall apart. Maybe that street corner gave him that permission." Marcus's phone buzzed again. More notifications, more strangers analyzing, theorizing, judging. But one notification stood out. An email from Sarah Chen, apparently Musk's assistant, with the subject line, "Musk Foundation Grant. Next Steps." Marcus opened it with trembling hands. The email was professional, efficient, outlining exactly how the $50,000 would be transferred, what paperwork he'd need to file to establish the nonprofit, and offering assistance with the legal setup. At the bottom, there was a personal note. "Mr. Rivera, Mr. Musk wanted me to convey that this grant comes with only one requirement: that you name the program something meaningful to you, something that reflects why music matters. He trusts your judgment completely. Sarah." Something meaningful. Marcus stared at the words, his mind drifting to Lily's voice on the phone, singing along to "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." "Good news?" Jennifer asked, noticing his expression. "I think so. Yeah." Marcus smiled, really smiled, for the first time in months. "I think it's very good news." His phone rang. Elena's name appeared on the screen again. "I should take this," Marcus told Jennifer. "Of course." She stood to leave, then paused. "Marcus, whatever happens next, whatever all this turns into, don't lose the part of you that gave a stranger your guitar just because he looked like he needed it. That's the part worth keeping." She walked away, leaving Marcus alone with his ringing phone. He answered. "Elena?" "Marcus, I've been thinking." His wife's voice was steadier now, more certain. "Can you come to Houston this weekend? I know it's short notice, but Lily really wants to see you. And I want to see you too. We need to talk. Face to face. Marcus looked at the money in his guitar case. Enough for gas, enough for a hotel if he needed it, enough for a real birthday present for Lily. Yes, he said, I can be there Saturday morning. Good. That's really good. He could hear the smile in Elena's voice. Marcus, I saw what happened today. Not just the video with that man. I saw the video someone posted of you singing to Lily in the coffee shop. You still have that guitar case in the background with all that money, but all you cared about was singing to our daughter. Marcus felt his throat tighten. That's the man I fell in love with, Elena continued softly. The one who knew what mattered. Maybe we can find our way back to that. Both of us. After they hung up, Marcus sat watching the sunset paint the Austin sky in impossible colors. His phone continued buzzing. The world still wanted pieces of this story, still wanted to understand what had happened on that street corner. But Marcus understood something they didn't. Today wasn't about a billionaire having a breakdown. It wasn't about viral videos or trending hashtags or news cycles. Today was about two men who'd lost something important, meeting at exactly the right moment. One had lost his family, the other had lost something Marcus still didn't understand. But for 3.5 minutes, music had connected them, had given them both something they desperately needed. Marcus pulled out his phone one more time and typed a text to the number Sarah had included in her email. Please tell Mr. Musk thank you. And tell him I'm naming the program Second Chance Strings, because everyone deserves a second chance to make things right. The response came back within 2 minutes. He says you're going to do great things, and that he'll be watching. Sarah. Marcus packed up his guitar and started the walk home. Behind him, the sun disappeared below the horizon, ending this impossible day. Tomorrow, he would drive to Houston to see his daughter. Tomorrow, he would start planning a music program that might change children's lives. Tomorrow, the world would still be talking about what happened on South Congress Avenue. But tonight, Marcus Rivera, former music teacher, street musician, father, allowed himself to feel something he hadn't felt in 6 months. Hope. Marcus's studio apartment felt different when he walked through the door that evening, and the space was exactly the same. Still small, still smelling faintly of old carpet, still containing nothing but a mattress on the floor, a folding table, and 2 plastic chairs. But somehow, it didn't feel as suffocating as it had that morning. He set his guitar carefully in the corner and emptied his case onto the table. Bills and coins scattered across the surface. He counted slowly, his hands still shaking slightly from the day's events. $473. Plus the $50,000 coming from the Musk Foundation. Marcus sat down heavily on one of the plastic chairs. 6 months ago, if someone had told him he'd be grateful for $473, he would have laughed. Now it felt like a fortune. Combined with Musk's grant, it felt like a miracle. His phone sat on the table, finally quiet. But the notifications had slowed as evening settled over Austin. The world's attention span was moving on, already looking for the next viral moment, the next mystery to solve. But Marcus couldn't move on. Something nagged at him, a question that wouldn't let go. Why had Elon Musk really been on that street corner? Marcus opened his laptop, an old thing that took 3 minutes to boot up, and started searching. If the internet was obsessed with this mystery, maybe someone had found the answer. He typed, Elon Musk, October 14th, significance. Pages of results appeared, but they were all the same theories he'd already seen. Business pressures, exhaustion, mental health crisis, publicity stunt. Nothing felt right. Marcus tried different searches. See Elon Musk father. Elon Musk family, October. Elon Musk personal life, 2023. One article from a South African news site caught his eye. It was dated September 30th, 2023, just 2 weeks ago. The headline read, Elon Musk, 77, dies of heart attack in Johannesburg. Marcus's heart stuttered. He clicked the link. Elon Musk, father of billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk, died unexpectedly on September 28, 2023, at his home in Johannesburg, South Africa. He was 77 years old. Medical officials confirmed the cause of death as a massive heart attack. He was found by his housekeeper and pronounced dead at the scene. Elon Musk was a South African electromechanical engineer, pilot, and property developer. His relationship with his famous son was famously complicated. In various interviews over the years, Elon Musk described his father as a terrible human being and said, "You have no idea about how bad. Almost every crime you can possibly think of, he has done." Despite their estrangement, sources close to the family say Errol had attempted to reach out to Elon in recent months. The nature of that communication remains private. Elon Musk has not made any public statement about his father's death. A representative from Tesla declined to comment when reached by this publication. Marcus leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. Musk's father had died 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks! And Elon hadn't said a word publicly. No statement, no acknowledgement, nothing. But today, October 14th, he'd broken down on a street corner, crying while singing about hurt and wildflowers and losing everything that matters. What was special about October 14th? And Marcus searched more specifically. Elon Musk, October 14th. Nothing came up directly. He tried Elon Musk, father reconciliation. An article from a celebrity gossip site appeared, dated October 15, 2022, exactly 1 year and 1 day ago. Marcus almost skipped it, but something made him click. Sources close to the Musk family report that Elon Musk sent his estranged son an unusual gift this week, a recorded video of himself playing guitar. According to the source, who wished to remain anonymous, Errol taught himself to play specifically to communicate with Elon. He wasn't good with words, the source said. He'd hurt Elon badly over the years. But he learned to play guitar because he knew Elon loved music as a child. See, he recorded himself playing a Tom Petty song, Wildflowers, and sent it with a note apologizing for being a terrible father. The video was reportedly sent on October 14, 2022. Whether Elon Musk ever watched it or responded remains unknown. Representatives for Elon Musk did not return requests for comment. Marcus read the article 3 times, his chest tightening with each pass. October 14, 2022. 1 year ago, exactly. Errol had sent the video. Elon never responded. Then Errol died on September 28, 2023. And today, October 14, 2023, the 1-year anniversary of his father's attempt at reconciliation, Elon Musk had played that same song on a borrowed guitar, tears streaming down his face, in front of hundreds of strangers. Marcus understood now. He understood everything. The weight of that knowledge sat heavy in his chest. But this wasn't a publicity stunt. This wasn't about business pressure or exhaustion. This was about a son who'd lost his father before they could fix what was broken between them. A son who'd ignored an olive branch and now had to live with that choice forever. Marcus grabbed his phone and pulled up the video someone had posted of Musk's performance. He watched it again, but this time he knew what he was seeing. When Musk sang, "You belong among the wildflowers," That was his father's song. His father's attempt to say, "I'm sorry," in the only language he could manage. When Musk sang, "I hurt myself today to see if I still feel," that was his own grief, his own pain at realizing too late that some chances only come once. The tears weren't weakness. They were regret crystallized into salt water. Marcus's phone rang, startling him. An unknown number. He almost didn't answer, expecting another reporter. But something made him pick up. "Hello? Mr. Rivera? This is Sarah Chen, Mr. Musk's assistant. I hope I'm not calling too late." "No, it's fine. Is everything okay?" "Yes, everything's fine with the grant. I'm actually calling about something else." Sarah paused. "Mr. Musk wanted me to ask you something. He said you'd understand the question, even if it seems strange." Marcus waited, his heart beating faster. He wanted to know, when you gave him your guitar today, why didn't you ask questions? Why didn't you hesitate or demand to know who he was or what he wanted? You just gave it to him. Marcus thought back to that moment. Musk's eyes, distant and sad. The desperate need written across his face. "Because," Marcus said slowly, "I recognized what I saw in his eyes. I felt it myself. When music is the only thing that might help you breathe and someone offers you a chance to play, you don't ask questions. You just need them to say yes." Silence on the other end. Then Sarah's voice, softer now. "He said you'd say something like that. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. He wanted you to know that what you did today mattered more than you realize." "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said, before she could hang up. "Of course. Today is October 14th. Does that date mean something to Mr. Musk?" Another pause. Longer this time. "That's not my information to share, Mr. Rivera. But..." Sarah's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "Between you and me? Yes. It means something. Something painful. Something he's been carrying alone for a long time." After they hung up, as Marcus sat staring at his laptop screen, at the articles about Elon Musk's death, at the old gossip piece about a father learning guitar for a son who wouldn't forgive him, he thought about his own daughter, about how close he'd come to losing her completely, about how Elena's phone call today, prompted by seeing him on the news, might be the only reason he'd get a second chance. Some people got second chances. Elon Musk never would. His father was gone, and whatever words had needed to be said would stay forever unspoken. But Musk had seen Marcus on that street corner, a father separated from his child, playing music to survive, and he'd seen a chance to change one story, even if he couldn't change his own. Marcus pulled out his phone and opened the Notes app. He started writing, at words flowing faster than he could type. Second Chance Strings Mission Statement. Every child deserves access to music education. Every parent deserves a chance to be present in their child's life. Every mistake deserves the possibility of redemption. We teach music not just as skill, but as language, the language of emotions we can't always speak aloud. We believe that it's never too late to learn, never too late to try, and never too late to say the things that matter. This program exists because second chances are precious, and not everyone gets them. We honor those who ran out of time by making sure others don't. He read it over, tears blurring the words. It wasn't just about him and Lily anymore. It was about everyone who'd waited too long, said too little, let pride or fear or pain keep them from the people they loved. It was about a father in South Africa who'd learned to play guitar but never got to play it for his son. It was about a son who'd finally played that song, 1 year too late, for a father who would never hear it. Marcus saved the document and closed his laptop. Tomorrow he would drive to Houston. He would hold his daughter and tell her he loved her. He would talk to Elena about mistakes and forgiveness and whether broken things could be repaired. He would do all the things Elon Musk could never do with his own father. And he would be grateful, desperately, achingly grateful, for the chance. Outside, Austin settled into night. Somewhere in the city, Elon Musk sat in an office with two guitars side by side, one worn and old, sent by a father trying to apologize, and one new, sent by a stranger saying thank you. Yet both men carried the weight of October 14th, but in different ways. One had lost his last chance at reconciliation. The other had been given an unexpected first chance at redemption. And between them, a borrowed guitar had somehow bridged the gap, if not between fathers and sons, then at least between one man's grief and another man's hope. Marcus lay down on his mattress on the floor, his phone finally silent beside him. For the first time in 6 months, he fell asleep without crying. Tomorrow would be better. It had to be. March 15th, 2024. The morning sun streamed through the windows of the converted warehouse in East Austin, lighting up dust particles that danced in the air like tiny stars. The space smelled of fresh paint, new carpet, and possibility. Marcus Rivera stood in the center of the main room, watching as volunteers assembled the last of the music stands. The walls were painted a warm yellow. Lily had picked the color, insisting that music rooms should be happy. 20 small chairs sat in neat rows, waiting for the students who would arrive in just 3 hours for the grand opening of Second Chance Strings. "Daddy, where should we put the guitars?" Lily called from the storage room, her voice echoing off the high ceilings. "The ones for beginners go on the left wall. Bug. The advanced ones on the right," Marcus called back, unable to stop smiling. His daughter was here, actually here, helping him set up, instead of 90 miles away in Houston. Elena appeared from the office carrying a stack of registration forms. Her dark hair was pulled back in the same ponytail she'd worn when they first met, and when she smiled at him, Marcus felt the same flutter in his chest he'd felt 12 years ago. "We're at capacity," she announced, waving the forms. 150 kids registered. We actually have a waiting list of 40 more. "That's incredible," Marcus breathed. "That's what happens when you get featured on Good Morning America," Elena teased, bumping his shoulder with hers. The touch was casual, comfortable, not like the early days after he'd moved back from Austin, when they'd circled each other carefully, unsure how to be together again. 4 months of counseling and countless difficult conversations had slowly rebuilt what had been broken. They weren't perfect. Elena still worried about money, even though the nonprofit had secured additional grants. Marcus still sometimes got lost in his music and forgot to check his phone. But they were trying. That was what mattered. They were both trying. "Mr. Rivera?" A young woman with bright pink hair poked her head through the front door. "The delivery truck is here with the pianos." "Already? They weren't supposed to come until noon." Marcus hurried toward the door, Elena laughing behind him. The next 2 hours passed in controlled chaos. Pianos were unloaded and positioned. Music books were organized by skill level. The sound system was tested 3 times because Marcus insisted it had to be perfect. Volunteers hung banners and arranged welcome packets and made sure every music stand had pencils for taking notes. At 10:45, people started arriving early. Parents and children lined up outside the glass doors, peering in with excited faces. But Marcus recognized some of them from the news coverage. Families who'd reached out after seeing his story. Parents who understood what it meant to lose something essential and fight to get it back. At exactly 11 o'clock, Marcus opened the doors. The first student through was a 10-year-old boy named David Chen, holding his mother's hand tightly. His mother was the woman from that day, the one whose daughter Sophie had asked why the man was crying. Sophie trailed behind them, now taking violin lessons at a different school, but insisting she wanted to watch her brother's first day. "Mr. Rivera," Sophie said solemnly, "I told David, you're a really good teacher, because you understand about feelings." Marcus knelt down to her eye level. "Thank you, Sophie. Now that means a lot coming from you." "Are you going to cry today?" she asked with the blunt honesty of an 8-year-old. "Maybe happy tears," Marcus admitted. "Is that okay?" She nodded seriously. "Happy tears are the best kind." The families filed in, filling the bright room with noise and energy. Marcus watched them come. Kids from every background, every neighborhood, every circumstance. Some had fancy instrument cases their parents had bought new. Others carried borrowed guitars held together with duct tape. It didn't matter. They were all here for the same reason, because music mattered, and someone had decided they deserved access to it. At 11:30, just as Marcus was about to begin his welcome speech, the front door opened one more time. A tall figure stepped inside, flanked by 2 security guards trying to be discreet, and the room went instantly silent. Elon Musk stood in the doorway wearing jeans and a faded SpaceX t-shirt, looking uncomfortable with all the eyes suddenly on him. Marcus froze. They hadn't spoken since that day in the coffee shop 6 months ago. There had been emails through Sarah about the grant paperwork, formal thank you notes, official documentation, but no personal contact. Marcus had assumed that was how Musk wanted it. The gift given, the story ended, both men moving forward separately. "I'm sorry," Musk said to the room at large. "I don't mean to interrupt. I wanted to see how things turned out." Marcus found his voice. "You're not interrupting. He struggled for words. "You're welcome here, always." The tension broke. A few parents whispered to each other. The kids mostly looked confused, and except for the teenagers who immediately recognized him and pulled out their phones. "Please," Marcus said to the students, "no photos right now. We have a class to start." To his surprise, they obeyed, putting the phones away. Musk gave him a small, grateful nod and moved to stand against the back wall, trying to make himself invisible despite being completely recognizable. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped to the front of the room. "Welcome to Second Chance Strings," he began, his voice steadier than he felt. "Some of you know my story. 6 months ago, I was playing guitar on a street corner because I'd lost everything that mattered to me. My job, my home, my family." He glanced at Elena, who smiled encouragement. Lily sat in the front row, beaming with pride at her father. "But someone gave me a second chance," Marcus continued. "Oh, actually, a lot of people did. My wife gave me a second chance to be a good husband. My daughter gave me a second chance to be the father she deserves. And a stranger gave me a second chance to do what I love, teach music to kids who need it." He gestured around the room, at the instruments and the bright walls and the families gathered together. "This place exists because second chances matter. Because it's never too late to try again, to fix what's broken, to create something beautiful from something that fell apart." His voice caught slightly. "Music teaches us that. A song can fall apart completely, and you can start over from the beginning and get it right the next time." The room was absolutely silent. Even the youngest kids seemed to understand they were hearing something important. "So here's what I want you to know," Marcus said. "Every single person in this room deserves to be here. I don't care if you've never touched an instrument before. I don't care if you can't read music. I don't care about anything except that you showed up and you're willing to try." He picked up his guitar, the same one Musk had played on South Congress Avenue, now fitted with new strings but still bearing the same scratches and history. "We're going to start with something simple. I'm going to play a few notes, and I want you to clap them back to me. Just listen and repeat. That's all music is, really. Listening to what came before and adding your own voice to it." Marcus played a simple 4-note pattern. The students clapped it back, some perfectly, some close enough, some not even remotely right, but trying anyway. "Perfect," Marcus said, meaning it. "Let's try another one." For the next hour, the warehouse filled with the sound of music being born. Beginners fumbled through scales. More advanced students attempted simple songs. Parents watched with tears in their eyes as their children discovered they could create something beautiful. Elena moved through the room helping students hold their instruments correctly, her patient voice encouraging even the most frustrated learner. Lily appointed herself as the official pencil distributor, making sure everyone had what they needed. And in the back of the room, Elon Musk stood perfectly still, watching it all with an expression Marcus couldn't quite read. When the class ended and the families started packing up, several parents approached Musk. Most just wanted to say, "Thank you for making this possible." A few asked for selfies, for which he politely declined but signed a few programs instead. Finally, when the room had mostly cleared, Musk approached Marcus. "It's good," Musk said simply. "What you've built here, it's really good. None of it would exist without you." "No," Musk shook his head firmly. "It exists because you did the work. I just opened a door. You walked through it." They stood in awkward silence for a moment. 6 months of unspoken understanding hung between them. The knowledge of what had really happened on October 14th. The grief that had driven Musk to that street corner. The chance at redemption that Marcus had been given. "Can I show you something?" Musk asked suddenly. He pulled out his phone and opened a photo. It showed 2 guitars mounted side by side on a wall. One was clearly old, well-worn, with a patina of age and use. And the other was newer, but designed to match, both beautiful in their own way. "The old one was my father's," Musk said quietly. "He sent it to me a year before he died. I never played it. Couldn't bring myself to touch it. Too much anger, too much hurt." "And now," Marcus asked gently, "now I play it sometimes, late at night when no one's around." Musk's jaw tightened. "I can't change what happened. Can't take back the words I didn't say, or the call I didn't make. But I can play the songs he tried to teach me. It's not forgiveness exactly. It's acknowledgement that he tried, that I should have tried too." "That's important," Marcus said. "The other guitar, the new one, that's the one you sent me. When I play that one, it reminds me that some stories do get second chances. Not mine with my father, but yours with your daughter. And these kids with music education," he gestured around the room. "Those stories matter too." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "Thank you for all of it, for giving me this chance. Thank you for taking it." Musk held out his hand, and Marcus shook it firmly. "And for letting a stranger borrow your guitar when he needed it most." Musk left shortly after, his security team whisking him away before more people could gather. But his presence had mattered, had blessed this new beginning with the weight of how it started. Elena appeared at Marcus's side, slipping her hand into his. "That was intense." "Yeah," Marcus agreed. "But good. It felt complete somehow." Lily ran up and crashed into both of them, wrapping her arms around their legs. "Daddy, when's the next class?" Can I help again? Wednesday afternoon, Marcus said, ruffling her hair. Sure, and yes, we'll need our official pencil distributor. That evening, after they'd locked up the warehouse and driven back to their small rental house, not fancy but big enough for the three of them, Marcus sat on the back porch with his guitar. The Austin sky turned pink and orange as the sun set. Inside, he could hear Elena helping Lily with her homework, their voices mixing with the sound of dinner cooking on the stove. Normal sounds, family sounds, home sounds. Marcus's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, but when he opened it, he saw it was from Sarah Chen. Mr. Musk wanted me to send this to you. He said you'd understand. Below the message was a video file. Marcus pressed play. The video showed a simple room. Looked like an office, though Marcus couldn't be sure. In the center of the frame sat Elon Musk on a plain wooden chair, holding the old guitar. He didn't say anything. He just started playing. The melody was Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the same song Marcus had sung to Lily 6 months ago in that coffee shop. But Musk played it differently, slowly, carefully, like someone learning the notes for the first time. His fingers stumbled occasionally, and he had to restart once, but he kept going. When he finished, he looked directly at the camera. I learned this one for him, Musk said quietly. My father. He used to hum it when I was very small, before everything got complicated. I'm learning it now, even though he'll never hear it. Because some things deserve to be learned anyway. Some chances are worth taking, even when they come too late. He paused, setting the guitar down carefully. Seth, thank you, Marcus, he said, for showing me that while I can't fix my own story, I can be part of fixing someone else's. That matters more than you know. The video ended. Marcus sat on his porch as the stars came out, tears running down his face. Not sad tears, not happy tears exactly. Something in between, the bittersweet recognition that life was complicated, that loss and hope existed together, that endings and beginnings were sometimes the same moment viewed from different angles. Inside, Elena called that dinner was ready. Lily's laugh echoed through the house, bright and clear as music. Marcus picked up his guitar one more time and played a few notes of Wildflowers, the song that had started everything 6 months ago on a street corner in Austin. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere you feel free. He belonged here, with his family, with his students, with his second chance. And somewhere in the city, Elon Musk sat in an office playing songs for a father who would never hear them, finding his own strange peace in the music of things that couldn't be changed. Two men, one borrowed guitar, one impossible day that changed everything. Some stories ended in reconciliation, others ended in acceptance. Both were valid. Both were enough. Marcus set down his guitar and went inside to have dinner with his family. Tomorrow, there would be more students to teach, more lives to touch, more second chances to honor. But tonight, he was just a father sitting down to eat with his daughter. And that was more than enough. It was everything. So now you know the truth. You know why Elon Musk cried that day, and you know what October 14th really meant. And you know that sometimes the smallest act of kindness, like letting a stranger borrow your guitar, can change everything. Marcus got his second chance. He's teaching music again. His family is back together. And somewhere in an office late at night, Elon plays songs for a father who will never hear them. Both stories matter. Both are real. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you listening from right now? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Let's see how far this story of kindness has traveled around the world. And if this story touched your heart, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel so we can keep spreading stories that remind us what really matters. Because the world needs more kindness, more second chances, more moments where we say yes when someone needs help. There's another incredible story appearing on your screen right now. Click it. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching. And remember, you never know when your small act of kindness might change someone's entire life. See you in the next one.